Thank you, Pratik. I have, as usual, started the recording also. And before we move on to today's session,
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Let me say welcome to all of you. Please
Hare Krishna,
forgive me for bunking many classes. You know, once you bunk, it becomes difficult to start again. So today I said, we are starting come what may. Thank you all for being present. I see all our old friends and devotees back on board. And again, forgive me for missing. We have missed for 2 months. This is unacceptable. And anyway, I'm sure you have all been busy also with activities. We have had Damodar Aarti in the month of October, November. We had a huge Kirtan Rasa event which ran for 3 days. We had a lot of visitors. The last 2 weeks we have had visitors here. So it has been very eventful for me, and I'm sure all of you are keeping good health in this current atmosphere of Omicron, that you're all maintaining safe distancing. All members of the family are safe, and we are all meeting after a lot of positives that have happened in our house. In case there is any prayer required for anybody for any particular reasons, please let me know at the end of the session. So I can, or you can just, unmute yourself and ask for prayers. Collective prayers is always very effective. We can definitely chant the names of the Lord and glorify. So before we go on, I just wanted to say that we covered up to verse 16, verse 15 of the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So today, before I start, I just wanted to give you a very quick overboard. And Prabha, as you're there, if somebody is joining in, please add them on. Thank you.
Yes, sir, I did.
Thank you very much. So let me quickly go on, give you an overview of what we have all covered in the previous sessions. And I just wanted to start off with the Mangalacharan, as we say. Om Ajnanathimirantasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapatantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Out of the various sections of Bhagavad Gita, we fortunately spent many weeks in continuity covering up to the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. The 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the Lord calls it the most confidential knowledge. Very important verses were covered there. At the end of the 9th chapter, the Lord advises one to fix the mind on Him. Manmanabho madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishyasi yuktvaivam atmanam atparayanaha. He says, fix your mind upon me. Then he describes his opulences, beginning in the chair, on which a devotee can fix his mind and how one can remember the Lord. Okay, that's very important. How can we fix our mind on the Lord? Then the conclusion of the 9th chapter is that one should become a pure devotee of the Lord by focusing the mind on the Lord. Chapter 10 focuses on description of Krishna's opulences. By hearing, it will increase devotion. So Krishna is first only explaining these opulences of his to Arjuna in the 10th chapter. And then at the end of the 10th chapter, Arjuna says, hey, Krishna, now I want to see the opulences personally. To some people, it is seeing is believing. But actually, from the spiritual side, it is nothing. We don't need to worry that seeing is believing, because any one of our senses can be completely wrong in its perception. Seeing is believing is not right, but actually hearing is more important. So Krishna is therefore saying, Tachrunu, hear carefully, hearing from the Shastras, hearing from the Gurus, hearing from the elders and Vaishnavas is very important. Only show me God, then I believe him. That's not something that you can use in Krishna conscious parlance. So in the first 7 verses, Krishna is explaining himself as the position of everything, or the origin of everything. And then is a very famous Chatushloki. And then Krishna is being asked to explain his opulences. Arjuna accepts it, and Krishna is then, showing him the various opulences, or talking about the various opulences. So that is what is covered in section in chapter 10. Let me jump a little further on to the, Krishna says you need a lot of qualities to be able to understand me. We covered all this. And then the Chatushloki, let's move beyond the Chatushloki. And here in verses 12 to 18, Krishna says, in the past, so many people have said, and now you are saying, oh Krishna, okay. So Krishna, he confirms that Krishna, you're the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he's praying to Krishna to hear more of his glories so that he can always think of him and remember him. The more you hear, the more you think of Krishna. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnoho Smaranam Padasevanam Shravanam Padasevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakyam Atmanivedanam. So it's very important to follow the Navavida Bhakti. Then how does Arjuna accept Bhagavad Gita? He says, hey Krishna, you are Param Brahma, Parandhama, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavan, Purusham, Shashwatam, Divyam, Adi Devam, Ajam Vibhum. So he says, in the past also many people have said, you are everything, you are everything. He first is declaring who Krishna is. And very beautifully he's summing up. And then he talks about the opulence. He says, you and all the other great sages have also confirming it. You yourself, Krishna, told us. But in actuality, all the other sages in the past have also told that you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Arjuna is reconfirming. This is called Guru, Shastra, and Sadhu. Okay? What the Guru says is corroborated with what the Shastra says and what the Sadhus say. Similarly, Arjuna says, hey Krishna, now you as God, you're telling this to me as a Guru to me, but all the other Sadhus and the sages have also said that you are God. And so he comes on, and this is how Arjuna accepts Bhagavad Gita. Then Arjuna is slowly coming into the point to say, hey Krishna, please explain your glories. Request to hear more about Krishna's glories. And he says, please give me this Amritam, which is nectar. And then Krishna, Arjuna is already satisfied with understanding of Krishna, has no doubt about Krishna's position. But the reason why he's asking for this is for the sake of common people, for all of us. It says, Sarvopanishado Gava Dugda Gopalanandana Partho Vatsa Sudhir Bhokta Dugdham Gita Amritam Hate. Why is Gita being asked for specially, and questions asked and showing confusion? So that Arjuna is wanting us to benefit by it. Sudhir Bhokta, all of us who are hearing it, Dugdham Gita Amritam Hate, that Dugdha, milk, he wants to reach it to us. And so he wants to explain to the materialists, he wants for his own personal absorption, and he wants to taste the nectar of the names of the Lord. Then Krishna is explaining in around 23 verses his own opulences. Krishna describes the most prominent about his limitless, all-pervading opulences. He names his opulences, then explains that these opulences simply indicate a fraction of his glories. After listing out around so many of these opulences, he is then saying all of these are but a fraction of my glory. And because he pervades and supports the entire universe with a mere fragment of his total potency. I'm jumping beyond these opulences. That gives a summary of all the opulences in one slide. We have covered all this. Just because we are catching up in time, I want to just bring you and me up to speed. Now here, Krishna's unlimited opulences are all being brought here. Out of the demigods, he is Krishna says, I'm Indra, Vishnu, Marichi, Shiva, Kuvera, Agni, Kartikeya, Chitraratha, Brahma, Prahlada, Yama, Aryama, Kandarpa, out of the demigod. Of the sages, he says, I'm Vyasa, Bhrigu, Narada, Brihaspati, Kapila, Ushana, that is Shukracharya. And of the demigods, he talks about the sun, the moon, Meru, Himalaya, ocean, the banyan tree, the wind. Out of animals, he says, he's the horse, Uchchaishrava. Of the elephants, Airavata. Surabhi of the cows, Vasuki of the serpents, Ananta, many-hooded nagas, the Varuna out of the aquatics, shark of the fishes, lion amongst the beasts, and Garuda amongst the birds. And then he talks about law and crime, and he talks about he is the subduer of everybody in curse of time, Kala. Then he says he is Rama, the wielder of weapon. Now here the Rama here refers to more to Balarama. Then he says he is also, out of cheats, he is gambling. And out of suppressing lawlessness, he is punishment. Out of weapons, he is thunderbolt. And he is the all-devouring death. If anybody escapes any other aspect, Krishna takes away the life also by death. So he's also death. And out of qualities, he talks about wisdom, silence, morality, splendor. Then he talks of fame, fortune among women. He says fame, Shri Vakchanarinam, Dhritir Medash, Dhritishama, fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, patience. Then he says, I'm adventure, victory, and the strength of the strong. Balam balavatam chaham. Okay. Then, similarly, out of philosophical truths, he says, what is he? He's letter A, he is Gayatri among all the mantras. And he's a conclusive truth. He is a living force. He is a mind. So he gives among various philosophical truths. And out of human beings, he says, I am Dhananjaya, the Arjuna among the Pandavas. I'm the monarch, the king among men. And I'm Vasudeva, the descendant of the Vrishni. Then out of Vedic mantra, he says he's Om, Pranavaha. Then out of sacrifices, he says chanting of the holy names. Yajnanam Japa Yajñosmi. Then out of Vedas, he says he's Samaveda. So Krishna says he is the best of everything. So if we are looking at any of these, we see the prowess in anybody, even a common man, a beauty in a person, a king. We have to think about who is Krishna. Okay. And then there's no end to my divine opulences. But all of this is a mere indication of my infinite opulences, Krishna says. Then know that of all opulent, beautiful, and glorious creations spring but a spark of my splendor. So that's very, very important. He says all of these opulences that look so large, Krishna says there's just a spark of my splendor. Then Krishna supports and pervades the entire universe with a mere fragment. He says, I manage all this without having to do major work. I'm not like Hercules pulling all his muscles and lifting the earth. No, in a very casual way, Krishna is maintaining all of these. He is not like a manager or of an office who is like doing all the work, running around, chasing, getting stressed out. Why is this not happening? No, he set it all in motion and he's just watching it and enjoying what happens. So that's a very, very important aspect of what we covered in the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Now, today, we're getting into the 11th chapter, and I'm going to get you all onto this aspect of the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where we had just started off. Now, very intelligently, Arjuna starts the 11th chapter. It's very big, long, and the Vishwarupa is being described. We also covered the various stories about how Vishwarupa is being covered at various stages. In the last verse of chapter 10, Krishna says, with a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support the entire universe. And Arjuna wishes to see all that pervasive form of the Lord. Then, because he only says, I can only describe a few, Arjuna, but Arjuna is not satiated. He wants to see it all. Then, although Krishna is driving Arjuna's chariot, he pervades and supports the entire universe. Arjuna therefore wishes to see Krishna's all-pervading form. And Arjuna requests Krishna to reveal his universal form. Krishna describes his universal form and provides vision to Arjuna. Arjuna beholds Krishna's universal form with astonishment, hesitatingly begins to describe what he sees. And Arjuna is trembling. He prays to Krishna's universal form, begs his forgiveness for having previously acted in ignorance, requests to withdraw his universal form and show his two-armed form. This is what is happening as a synopsis in the 11th chapter. Right. So what are the sections? We have already on section B, and we're going to continue on section B. We covered until verse 15. We will catch on, but just to quickly say what covered. Arjuna is now again requesting Krishna, oh Krishna, please show. And then Krishna is again describing his universal form. And then Sanjaya is describing the universal form. And then Krishna is showing all his form that is being described here. So Arjuna also acknowledged that the two-armed form of Krishna is supreme. Request Krishna to show him that all-pervading form which he spoke of in chapter 10. Krishna first described his universal form of opulences, demigods, and time before showing it to Arjuna. He then bestows Arjuna the divine eyes to see it. You cannot see this form. So Krishna says, Divyam dadami te chakshuhu. I'm giving this very, very divine power, vision by which you can see. And the same divine vision was also given to Sanjaya, sitting far away, explained to Dhritarashtra, and that is why Sanjaya is also explaining it. So here in the universal form, the effect of hearing, the most confidential knowledge. Hearing is most important, is what is being said here in the beginning. So, and by hearing, all the illusions can be dispelled. Let's move on to verse 2. Arjuna expresses his understanding that Krishna is the supreme person of Godhead. He says, Kamala Patraksha, O lotus-eyed one. And then he says, you are the source of all creation, maintenance, and destruction. But you're still aloof, and Krishna has explained before. His inconceivable opulences were being explained. Then Arjuna expresses desire to see the form which supports and pervades the entire universe. And why is Arjuna asking this question? To again establish Krishna's divinity for all of us. So Arjuna is asking this question on behalf of all of us. Then to convince others, although he does not have any personal desire, he, by hearing what Krishna said, he believes him in full. But to convince all the others so that nobody else can come and say, oh, this Krishna is not the person that you see, is beyond Krishna. There are many impersonalists who talk like that. They do not believe that Krishna is everything. So to make them feel that this personal form of Krishna is ultimate and this personal form of Krishna is the source of everything. And to avoid imposters who wants to set a criteria for the future that there will not be so many imposters who pose as incarnations. And Arjuna wants to substantiate Krishna's statement. Krishna not only theoretically and philosophically, but actually he shows his form. Because when we say science, we want to hear the theory and we want to experiment. Arjuna has experimented it. Now, Arjuna had this divine capacity to do it. He may not. Therefore, let us now not think that unless I see the Lord, I will not accept him. And to set an example, Arjuna is asking for this particular. And so he calls Krishna Purushottama, and Arjuna fulfills his responsibility because he is the beginning of the parampara. Arjuna is asking us, and through Arjuna we get Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna says here, or Srila Prabhupada says here, that he is the beginning of the parampara. Arjuna does not order Krishna, but he pleads Krishna. And that is how you can do. Pariprashnena sevaya. How to also deal with the Guru? You have to deal with the Guru by doing pariprashnena and seva. Seva is very important aspect. You can't say, okay, if you think you can explain it, come on, explain. Many of us go to some discourses and we try to challenge the speaker to say, oh, how can I believe this? How can I believe this? You are not right. I read this here. No, it has to be in a consultative mode. It has to be in a mode of servitorship where you serve a Guru. You work with him. You serve him. You, in a submissive way, you ask questions in a humble way, in an inquisitive way. You ask questions and not in a challenging way. We need to learn all of this even from Arjuna. So only by revelation, by the mercy of the Lord. Now, Krishna, only if he desires, how much ever you read the Vedas, the understanding has to be coming with the blessing of Krishna. So first is the revelation that we talk about. Therefore, Arjuna requests and pleads and not orders. And this is not possible by mental speculation of naiti, reading, going to Google, reading everybody, hearing everybody. No, the qualification comes by serving. And the, because we are a small spark, how can you understand the whole thing? Everything is mind-boggling in this world, I may be a vice president for finance in Emirates, but I handle a small field compared to the whole of finance, which is much larger, compared to the whole of Emirates, which is much larger, the whole of airline, whole of Dubai. Just imagine we are just a tiny frog in the well, and we want to understand it by our own brain. How can we do that? So we need the mercy of the Lord. So Arjuna admits his limitations as a living entity and acknowledges Krishna's inestimable position. And then the Lord here is being addressed as Yogeshwara. to point out his inconceivable potencies by which the infinite can reveal to the finite. If the person who knows it wants to reveal to us, we can understand. If it does not want to reveal to us, we cannot understand by our tiny, puny brain. So we need the mercy of Krishna. Krishna is not obliged to reveal himself until one fully surrenders in Krishna consciousness and engages in transcendental loving service. This is a very, very important verse here. And then gradually Krishna is himself description of his own universal form. What is Arjuna going to see? Krishna says, I'm going to show you this and I'm going to show you that. And Krishna is giving him a prelude. And Krishna is then revealing his universal form. And now we discussed here that this universal form is not very unique, that Arjuna is seeing it for the first of a time. This universal form has been seen by Mother Yashoda twice. When Krishna first yawned Mother Yashoda, when he was just on his bed, on his cradle, Mother Yashoda just saw the beautiful, the entire universe within the mouth of Krishna. Again, she is seeing when Krishna, she's challenging Krishna that you ate mud, and Krishna is opening his mouth. Again, she sees the universal form. And then in the assembly of the Kurus, we read about this as to how when Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana was trying to capture, that is another time that Krishna showed the universal form. Okay, and then to sage Uttanka, he showed the universal form. As Krishna was coming back from the war, he met with Uttanka, and Uttanka challenged him, and Krishna showed him the universal form. And then now he is showing to Arjuna. So the same universal form has been shown many, many, many times. But the fact is, many people in the world think that the universal form is everything because it is something so big. But the fact is, universal form is not very big. That we will understand also coming on. It is very unique because Arjuna is asking it, Krishna shows. But that doesn't mean universal form is above the form of Krishna. The universal form is contained within Krishna. So Lord Krishna responds to Arjuna by offering to show Arjuna his opulences. Krishna shows his variegated forms, varieties of forms. He says, see my opulences, hundreds and thousands. Then he says, the universal form is transcendental, and the universal form is not possible to be seen by ordinary men, Krishna says. Then in verse 6, he says, he gives a vision of the universal form. So wonderful forms, the different manifestations of Aditya, Vasu, Rudra, Ashwini, Kumara, and all other demigods will be shown to Arjuna. Verse 6 again, he says, no one has ever, na deva, na danava. Whatever the Lord Krishna is going to show is unseen or unheard ever. And because Arjuna is a personal friend and most advanced learned man, okay, Krishna is showing this to him, not to all. And the universal form, Krishna says, I'm giving you the vision of the entire universe. You could see all the moving and non-moving entire universe sitting at one place. You know, sometimes it's virtual reality. You buy a ticket and you watch the whole thing that's happening around the world. And even most advanced scientists cannot see other parts of the universe, which a pure devotee can see so easily. And then he gives the vision of the past, present, and future. Arjuna wanted to see all this. Arjuna will be shown the future destiny. Now, Krishna did not only show him the past and current, but Krishna also showed what is going to happen in the Mahabharata war. You know, who are all going to be dying, how all those people are entering into the mouths of the Lord is all also going to be shown. So Krishna says, I'm going to show you the past, present, and future. And then you need for that divine vision. So Krishna says, the lower level vision, you cannot see with the present eyes. Pure devotee is only interested in the two-handed form, and therefore Arjuna is told not to change the mind, but to change the eyes, the vision with which we see everything. So Arjuna is being given a new perspective of seeing Krishna. Till now he was hearing, he could do it all with his mind, but now he's being given a new perspective to see Krishna. And now Sanjaya is now describing the universal form, sitting away, far away. Sanjaya is describing how Krishna bestows upon Arjuna the necessary vision. Arjuna then beholds Krishna's universal form with his expansions divided into thousands, all those situated in dazzling ornaments, celestial garments, scents, and garments, all magnificently. Krishna's universal form, this is where we are in. And he's showing the opulences. Arjuna with his hair standing on his head, bewildered and astonished praise, my dear Krishna, I see, Pashyami. Okay, now we will come up with this particular verses. Now Arjuna is praying. He's saying, what all am I seeing? I see all the demigods, the sages, the serpents within your fiery form. You are all pervading eternal personality guarded. The sun and the moon are your eyes. and your glory is unlimited. You're burning the universe by your radiance. And then Krishna is showing the Kala Rupa form, and Arjuna says, seeing this fearful form and beholding the confusion of the entire universe, including demigods, I too am frightened. All the soldiers on both sides rush towards your death-like faces with the blazing mouths and awful teeth, and your blazing effulgence is devouring the word. What is your mission? Who are you? So Arjuna is like really bewildered. And this is what we covered here. So Sanjaya's description comes in verses 9 to 14. And then in 9, Sanjaya was provided with the divine vision. 10 and 11, Sanjaya is describing unlimited, divine, wondrous, brilliant forms, unlimited mouths, eyes, ornaments, weapons, garlands, manifestations were distributed throughout the universe by inconceivable potency. And then he sees the more radiant hundreds and thousands of sun. It's not just one sun. One sun. And I'm driving yesterday, I was seeing, as I was coming back from my office day before yesterday, the sun was coming, it was just blinding me at that spot where I was driving. So that's just one sun, a little diffused in this winter weather, is so powerful. Imagine millions of suns that are coming there. How brilliant the whole place should be. And so Sanjaya is describing the whole thing, and he gives a mental picture of indescribable revelation to Dhritarashtra. The grace of Vyasadeva, Sanjaya, by the grace of Vyasa, could see all that could happen in Kurukshetra. And Sanjaya is describing. Arjuna is seeing it all sitting in one place. All unlimited expansions, universe, including planets of gold, jewels, and all other kinds. The word Tatra there indicates Arjuna and Krishna were sitting on the chariot and seeing everything from one place. Others on the battlefield could not see because Krishna gave the vision only to Arjuna. And of course, Dhritarashtra also got it. And then Arjuna is bewildered and astonished, and his hair standing on the end. And then these are the various ways, how do you relate to spiritual things? Sometimes your hair, Shanta, Dasa, Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhurya, etc. There are various ways by which you can relate the various gunas. We covered these briefly. Then Arjuna speaks his realizations of the universal form. This is where we are. So let's just quickly get on. We backtrack by a few shlokas and then we start. Okay, I will start with how Sanjaya is reading. Just the beautiful verses will be so very beautiful. So Krishna says, Pashyadityan varun rudhan ashvinau marutastata bahunya drishta purvani pasyascharyani bharata. Hey Arjuna, see, I'm going to show you all this. Ihaikastam jagat kritsnam pashyadhya cha charasacharam mama dehe gudakesha yat drashtavichasi. You wanted to see? Here, come on, sit here and see. Natubam sakshashe drishtum aneneva swachakshusha divyam dadamite chakshuhu pashyame yogamaishwaram. See it all. Therefore, I give you divine eyes. Behold my mystic opulence, Krishna is telling Arjuna. And then Sanjaya is now describing what he says. Eva muktva tatho rajan mahayogeshwaro harihi darshayanasa partaya paramam rupamaishwaram. And then he says, Aneka Vaktranayanam, Aneka Adbhuta Darshanam, Aneka Divyabharanam, Divyanekodhyatanutam, Divyamalyam Bharadaram, Divya Gandhanu Lepanam, Sarvascharyamayam Devam, Anantam Vishwato Mukam. Then he says, Divisurya Sahasrasya, thousands of suns, Bhave Dugapadittu Tata, Yadiba Sadrishi Sasyad, Bhashastasya Mahatmanaha. Then he says, Tatraikastam Jagat Kritsnam, Prabhai Pravibhakkam Nanekada, Apashyad Deva Devasya Sharire Pandavastata. Then he's saying, at that time, Arjuna could see the universal form of the Lord, the unlimited expansions of the universe situated in one place, although divided into many, many thousands. Then Arjuna is starting to glorify the Lord. Let's come to that particular part right now. Okay. Tata Savishmaya Vishto Hristaroma Dhananjaya Pranamya Shirasa Devam Kritanjali Rabashata. Then bewildered and astonished, his hair standing on end, Arjuna bowed his head to offer obeisances with folded hands and began to pray to the Supreme Lord. Now Arjuna's prayers are starts. Arjuna says, Arjuna uvacha pashyami devam stava deva dehe sarvam stata bhuta vishesha sangan Brahmanamisham Kamalasanastam Rishimscha Sarvan Uraganscha Divyan. Sarvam Tata. Okay, sorry. Rishimscha Sarvan Urugamscha Divyan. He says, Arjuna said, my dear Lord Krishna, I see assembled in your body all the demigods and various other living entities. I see Brahma sitting on the lotus flower, as well as Lord Shiva and all the other sages and his divine serpents. Then we're going to start from here. Let us start from this purport again. Somebody can read the purport here. Let us all repeat the shloka of what Arjuna is saying. We'll start from 15. Arjuna Uvacha
Arjuna Uvacha
Pashyami Devam Tava Deva Dehe Sarvams Tata Bhuta Vishesha Sanghan
Bhuta Vishesha Sanghan
Brahmanamisham
Brahmanamisham
Kamalasanastham
Kamalasasam
Rishimsta Sarvan
Rishishta Sarvan
Uragamscha Divyan.
Durgashucha Divyan.
Arjuna Vacha. Arjuna said, Pashyami, I see Devan, all the demigods, Tava, Shua, Deva, O Lord, Dehe, in your body, Sarvan, all, Tatha, also, Bhuta, living entities. I'm seeing all the living entities. Vishesha Sanghan, very specially assembled, very beautifully, orchestrated there. Brahmanam, O Lord Brahma, I'm seeing Isham, Isha means, Lord Shiva, Kamala Shanastam, Kamala Asanastham, sitting on the lotus flower. Rishim, great sages, Cha, also, Sarvan, all, Uragan, serpents, Cha, also, Divyan, divine. Translation. Arjuna said, my dear Lord Shri Krishna, I see assembled in your body all the demigods and various other living entities. I see Brahma sitting on the lotus flower, as well as Shiva and all the sages and divine serpents. Somebody can read the purport for me.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Madhuri.
Arjuna sees everything in the universe. Therefore, he sees Brahma, who is the first creature in the universe, and the celestial serpent upon which the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu lies in the lower regions of the universe. This snake bed is called Vasuki. There are also other snakes known as, There are also other snakes known as Vasuki. Arjuna can see from Garbhodakshaya Vishnu up to the topmost part of the universe on the lotus flower planet where Brahma, the first creature of universe, resides. That means that from the beginning to the end, everything could be seen by Arjuna, who was sitting in one place on his chariot. This was possible by the grace of the Supreme Lord Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. So let us just quickly cover that verse here. So you see here, Arjuna is sitting down, Krishna is explaining, and he sees the entire Rupa, and he sees all of them right here. So let's get on to verse 16 right now. So, okay. Aneka bahudara vaktra netram Ashyami tvam sarvato anantarupam
Pashyami sarvato anantarupam
Nantam na madhyam na punaschavadim Pashyami Vishweshwara Vishwarupa Aneka, many, Bahu, hands, multiple hands, udara, bellies, vaktra, so many mouths, netram, multiple eyes, pashyami, I see, tvam, you, sarvataha, on all sides, ananta rupam, unlimited form, ananta, anta, jiska ant nahi hai, there's no end, okay, unlimited, infinite, unlimited form, na antam, no end, na madhyam, no middle, no punaha, nor again, tava, your, adim, beginning, huh? And then he says, pashyami, I see, Vishweshwara, O Lord of the universe, I see your Vishwarupa in the form of this universe. O Lord of the universe, O universal form, I see in your body many, many arms, bellies, mouths, and eyes expanded everywhere without limit. I see in you no end, no middle, and no beginning. Right? Very small purport. Let me read it. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and is unlimited. Thus, through him, everything could be seen. So Krishna is unlimited. Sees many, many arms, bellies, mouths, eyes without any limit, with no end, middle, and beginning. Through Krishna, everything could be seen. So, verse 17. Kiritinam Ghadinam Chakrinam Cha Tejo Rashim Sarvato Deeptimantam
Tejo Rashi
Pashyami Tvam Durniriksham Samanta
Tvam Durnirishamanta
Deeptanalarka Dvitim Aprameyam
Driptanalarkam
Ameyam.
Kiritinam with helmets. Each one of the head had helmets. Gadinam with multiple maces. Chakrinam with discs. Cha and Tejarasim, effulgence. Sarvataha on all sides. Deeptimantam, glowing. Pashyami, I see. Tvam, you. Durniriksham, difficult to see. Samantad, everywhere. Deeptanala, blazing fire. Arka, of the sun. Dutim, the sunshine. Aprameyam, immeasurable. Your form is difficult to see because of its glaring effulgence, spreading on all sides like blazing fire or the immeasurable radiance of the sun. Yet I see this glowing form everywhere, adorned with various crowns, clubs, and discs. Now, Krishna, Arjuna is giving the analogy, glaring effulgence on all sides like the blazing fire or immeasurable radiance like the sun. This form is very, very, very difficult to see. Then, verse number 18. Twamaksharam paramam veditavyam.
Twamaksharam paramam veditavyam
Twamasya vishwasya param nidhanam.
Tvamasya param
Twamavyaya shashwata dharma gopta.
Vyaya Shashvata Dharma Gopta
Sanatanastvam purusho mato me.
Purusho Mato Me
Tvam, you. Aksharam, the infallible. Paramam, supreme. Veditavyam, to be understood. Tvam, you. Asya, of this. Vishwasya, universe. Param, supreme. Nidhanam, basis. You are the basis of all the universes. Tvam, you. Avyayaha, inexhaustible. Shashwata Dharma Gopta, maintainer of eternal religion. Sanatanaha, eternal. Tvam, you. Purusha, the supreme personality. Mathame, this is my opinion. You are the supreme primal objective. You are the ultimate resting place of all this universe. You are inexhaustible and you are the oldest. Paramam. You are the maintainer of eternal religion. the personality of Godhead. This is my opinion. So Arjuna is attempting to describe the immeasurable. He's trying to say, you are Supreme Lord by the following statements: that you are supreme primal objective, ultimate resting place of all the universes, inexhaustible and the oldest, maintainer of eternal religion. You are without origin. In the next verse he says, middle or end. You have numberless arms, Ananta Bahu. Then you are the sun and the moon are your ears, your eyes. I see you with blazing fire coming forth from your mouth, burning this entire universe by your own radiance. All right? So let's go to the next verse. Anadi madhyantamananta viryam
Anantavirya
ananta bahum shashi surya netram.
Anantabahum Shashinetam.
Surya Netram.
Shashi is the moon, Surya is the sun. So his eyes are Shashi Surya Netram. Pashyami Tvam Deeptam Uta Savaktram
Pashyami Tvam Diptam
Swatejasa Vishwamidam Tapantam.
Tejasa Vishwamidam Tapantam.
Anadi, without beginning. Madhya, middle. Antam, or end. Ananta, unlimited. Viryam, glories. Ananta, unlimited. Bahum, arms. Shashi, the moon. Surya, the sun. Netram, the eyes. Pashyami, I see. Tvam, you. Dipta, blazing. Hutasavaktam, fire coming out of your mouth. Swatejasa, by your radiance. Vishwam, universe. Idam, this. Tapantam, heating. Tapa means to be hot. Tapantam, heating. Then, translation. You are without origin, middle or end. Your glory is unlimited. You have numberless arms, and the sun and the moon are your eyes. I see you with blazing fire coming forth from your mouth, burning this entire universe by your own radiance. It's a small purport somebody else can take on.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, Prabhu, you continue, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Yes, Ashish.
There is no limit to the extent of the 6 opulences of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Here and in many other places, there is repetition, but according to the scriptures, repetition of the glories of Krishna is not a literary weakness. It is said that at a time of bewilderment or wonder or of great ecstasy, statements are repeated over and over. That is not a flaw.
At the time of bewilderment, you're simply sometimes in shock and awe and reverence. You're repeating the same thing again and again. That's what we see Arjuna is repeating, but there is no flaw in that. So let us see whether there's anything being specially said in verse 19 to 22 as a summary. Okay, we'll come to this after completing 22. Okay, verse 20. Dvava prithivyor idamantaram hi
Dvavayoridam hi
vyaptam tvayaikena dishascha sarvaha
Dvayekena dishascha sarvaha
दृष्ट्वाद्भुतं रूपमुग्रं तवेदं
Drishtvadabhutam Rupamuktam Tavedam
लोकत्रयं प्रव्यतिथं महात्मन्
Lokatayam Mahatma.
द्वौ from the outer space, aprithivyoho to the earth, idam this, antaram between, he certainly, vyaptam pervaded, tvaya by you, ekena alone, tishaha directions, cha and sarvaha all, drishtva by seeing, adbhutam wonderful, rupam form, ugram terrible, tava your, idam this, loka the planetary systems, trayam 3, pravyatitham perturbed, mahatman O great one. Translation: although you are one, you spread throughout the sky and the planets and all space in between. O great one, Seeing this wondrous and terrible form, all the planetary systems are perturbed. Ugram, Ugra Rupam, Adbhutam, Rupam Ugram. Ugram means very, very terrible form, very terrible to behold. Somebody can read the purport. Small purport, go ahead. Komalaji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Dvava Pritvayoho, the space between heaven and earth, and Lokatrayam, the three worlds, are significant words in this verse because it appears that not only did Arjuna see this universal form of the Lord, but others in other planetary systems saw it also. Arjuna's seeing of the universal form was not a dream. All whom the Lord endowed with divine vision saw that universal form on the battlefield. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Let me, because these are long, let me break them as we chant. Ami hitvam
Ami hitvam
surasanga vishanti
surasanga vishanti
Shanti
kechid bhuta kechid bhitaha pranjalayo grananti
pranjalayo grinanti
Shanti
swastiti uktva maharshi siddha sangaha
Maharshi
Shri
Sangaha
tuvanti tvam Tutibi pushkalabhihi. Ami, all those. He, certainly. Tvam, you. Surasangaha, groups of demigods. Vishanti, are entering. Kechid, some of them. Bitaha, out of fear. Pranjalayaha, with folded hands. Grananti, are offering prayers. Swasti, all peace. Iti, thus. Uktva, speaking. Maharishi, great sages. Siddha Sangaha, perfect beings. Stuvanti, are singing hymns. Stuvanti means stunvataha. Then Tvam, unto you. Stutibihi, with prayers. Pushkalabihi, Vedic hymns. All the hosts of demigods are surrendering before you and entering into you. Some of them very much afraid are offering prayers with folded hands. Hosts of great sages and perfected beings crying all peace. Then what is all peace? Swasti, swasti means all peace. Are praying to you by singing Vedic hymns. So, Stutva prasida bhagavaniti vandeta dandavat shiromat padyoho krutva bhavyam cha paranparam prapannam pahimamisha bhitam mrityu graharnavat. Says tavaihi uchavachaihi stotraihi stutibihi, all these stotras, tavas, stutis. The demigods and all planetary systems feared the terrific manifestation of the universal form and its glaring effulgence, and so prayed for protection. So what it says here is not just Arjuna who saw it, the demigods also saw it there at that time, because this form was spread everywhere. Then Rudra Ditya Vasavo Ye Cha Sadhya Vishveshinau Marutaha Shoshmapacha Gandharva Yaksha Sura Siddha Sangha Vikshante Tvam Vishmitas Chaiva Sarve.
Vikshante Tvam Vishmitas Chaiva Sarve.
Rudra, manifestations of Lord Shiva. Adityaha, the Adityas. Vasavaha, the Vasus. Ye, all those. Cha, and Sadhyaha, the Sadhyas. Vishwe, the Vishwadevas. Ashwinau, the Ashwini Kumaras. Marutaha, the Maruts. Cha, and Usmapaha, the forefathers, Cha, and Gandharva, of the Gandharvas, Yaksha, the Yakshas, Asura, the demons, Siddha, and the perfected demigods, Sangaha, the assemblies, Vikshante, all beholding, Tvam, you, Vishmitaha, in wonder, Cha, also, Eva, certainly, Sarve, all. All the various form, various manifestations of Lord Shiva, the Adityas, the Vasus, the Sadhyas, the Vishwadevas, the two Ashwinis, the Maruta, I think it is wrongly written as Ashwis, it is Ashwinis. The two Ashwinis, the Maruts, the forefathers, the Gandharvas, the Yakshas, the Asuras, and the perfected demigods are beholding you in wonder. So let me just jump on to this right now. In verses 19 to 22, Arjuna's description, the Kala Rupa of Krishna. He is starting with the blazing fire coming from your mouth, spread throughout, petitioned by demigod, he says. The blazing fire coming forth from your mouth, burning the entire universe, numberless arms, sun, moon are your eyes without origin, middle end, and repetition of glories is not a flaw. Then he says, spread throughout the sky, in all the places in between, all the planetary systems are perturbed, seeing this form. Then he says, Lokatrayam, covering all the three worlds, indicate that not only Arjuna saw, but other planetary systems, who were endowed with divine vision, also saw this form and got perturbed. And this proves that Arjuna's seeing was not a dream. Then Kala Rupa is petitioned by demigods and sages. All are fearful. Demigods are surrendering and praying with folded hands. Great sages are praying with Vedic hymns. Lord Shiva, Adityas, Vasus, etc. are beholding you in wonder. Now let's get to verses 23 to 25. Rupam mahatte bahuvaktra netram.
Rupam mahatte bahuvaktra netram.
Mahabaho bahubahurupadam.
Mahabaho Bahubahurupadam.
Bahudaram bahudam strakaralam. Drishtva lokha pravyatitas-tataham.
Drishtva
Ahu means the hand, Bahu means many, many, many. Okay? So let's see here. Rupam, the form. Mahat, very great. Te, of you. Bahu, many. Vaktra, many faces. Netram, and eyes. Mahabaho, oh mighty armed. Baho means the hand. Then Bahu, many. Bahu, many arms. Uru, thighs. Padam, legs. Bahudaram, many bellies. Bahudamshtra, many teeth. Karalam, horrible. Drishtva, seeing. Lokha, all the planets. Pravyatitaha, perturbed. Tatha, similarly. Aham, I am. Everybody else is perturbed. Oh Krishna, I am also perturbed. He's coming back to saying others are perturbed. So I am perturbed too. Almighty armed one, all the planets with the demigods are disturbed at seeing your great form with its many faces, eyes, arms, thighs, legs, and bellies, and your many terrible teeth. And as they are disturbed, so am I. Then, Nabasprisham Deeptamane Kavarnam. Vyathananam Deepta Vishala Netram. Drishtva hitvam pravyatitantaratma. Dhritim na vindami samam cha Vishnu. Nabhasprusham, touching the sky. Deeptam, glowing. Aneka, many. Varnam, colors. Vyatta, open. Ananam, mouths. Deepta, glowing. Vishala, very great. Netram, eyes. Drishtva, seeing. He, certainly. Tvam, you. Pravyatitha, perturbed. Antaha, within. Atma, soul. Dhritim, steadiness. Na, not. Vindami, I have. Shamam, mental tranquility. Cha, also. Vishnu, oh Lord Vishnu. Oh, all-pervading Vishnu, seeing you with your many radiant colors touching the sky, your gaping mouths and your great glowing eyes, my mind is perturbed by fear. I can no longer maintain my steadiness or equilibrium of mind. He's shaking. He's not able to. Na vindami shamam. I'm not able to maintain my tranquility and equilibrium. Then, damshtra karalani chate mukani.
Damshtakaralani Chamukhani
Dristvaiva kala nalasannibhani.
Drishtva
Kala-nala-sannibhani.
Disho na jane na labeta sharma.
Disho na
न जाने न
jane
लभे
sharma.
शर्मा
Prasida devesha jagannivasa.
Prasida
प्रसीद
devesha jagannivasa.
जगन्निवास.
So this is verse 25. Damshtra, teeth, karalani, terrible, cha, also, te, your, mukani, faces, drishtva, seeing, eva, thus, kala nala, the fire of death, sannibhani, as if, dishaha, the directions, na, not, jane, I know, na, not, labe, I obtain, cha, and sharma, grace, prasida, be pleased, devesha, O Lord of Lords, Jagannivasa, O refuge of the worlds. O Lord of Lords, O refuge of the worlds, please be gracious to me. I cannot keep my balance, seeing thus your blazing death-like faces and awful teeth. In all directions, I am bewildered. Okay, let us just cover this here. So Arjuna is now describing the Kala Rupa. He experiences a terrible, fearsome sight. Rasa changes to fear. Initially, Arjuna had the enthusiasm to see, and now slowly that enthusiasm to see is changing into fear. So Arjuna and demigods are disturbed at seeing great form with his many faces, eyes, arms, thighs, etc. Then Arjuna is seeing many radiant colors touching the sky. Arjuna can no longer maintain his steadiness. Arjuna sees blazing death-like faces and awful teeth, and Arjuna is bewildered and could not keep balance. He's coming to that stage. So let's just cover a little more. 26 to 30 we will cover today, and then we move on from there to the next class. So 26 to 30. One second. Okay. Ami chatvam
Amichatvam
dhritarashtrasya putraha
Dhritarashtrasya putraha
sarve sahaivavani
sarve sahaivavani
palasangaihi
Palasangaihi
Bhishmo Drona
Bhishmo Drona
Bhishmadrona
Suta Putras Tatasau
Sutaputrasatasau
Sahas Madiyair
Sahasriye
Apiyoda Mukhyehi
Apiyodamukhi
Vaktrani Te
Vakmanite
Tvaramana Vishanti
Varamana Vishanti
Tvaramana Vishanti
Ana Vishanti
Damshtra Karalani
Damshta
Sakaralani
Karalani
Bhayanakani
Bhayanakani
Echid Vilagna
Lagna
Dashanantareshu
Shanantareshu
Dashanantareshu
Sandrishyante
Sandrishyante
Shanti
Churnitair Uttamangaihi
Chunisairuttamangay.
Ami, these, cha, also, tvam, you, Dhritarashtrasya, of Dhritarashtra, Putraha, the sons, Sarve, all, Saha, with, Eva, indeed, Avanipala, of warrior kings, Sangaihi, the groups, Bhishmaha, Bhishmadeva, Dronaha, Dronacharya, Sutaputraha, Karna, Tatha, also, Asau, that, Saha, with, Asmadiyaha, our, Api, also, Yodhamukaihi, Mukkehi, chiefs among warriors, Vaktrani, mouths, Te, your, Twaramanaha, rushing, Vishanti, entering, Damshtra, teeth, Karalani, terrible, Bhayanakani, very fearful, Kechat, some of them, Vilagnaha, becoming attached, Dashanantareshu, between the teeth, Sandrishyante, are seen, Churnitaihi, with smashed, Uttama Angaihi, heads, their heads are getting smashed. Now he's seeing the future. He's seeing all those who are going to die in this war. In these two verses, in this one verse, he's seeing it all. All the sons of Dhritarashtra, 100, all the 100, along with their allied kings, and Bhishma, Drona, Karna, and our chief soldiers also are rushing into your fearful mouths. And some I see trapped, heads smashed between your teeth. Imagine, they are also small, tiny, puny. Between the teeth, between two teeth, they're getting smashed, the head's getting smashed. And he's seeing it all. Somebody can read the purport, please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, sir.
In a previous verse, the Lord promises to show Arjuna things he would be very interested in seeing. Now Arjuna sees that the leaders of the opposite party, Bhishma, Drona, Karna, and all the sons of Dhritarashtra, and their soldiers and Arjuna's own soldiers are all being annihilated. This is an indication that after the death of nearly all the person assembled at Kurukshetra, Arjuna will emerge victorious. It is also mentioned here that Bhishma, who is supposed to be unconquerable, will also be smashed. So also Karna. Not only will the great warriors of the other party like Bhishma be smashed, but some of the great warriors of Arjuna's sides also. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Then, Yata Nadinam Bahavo Ambuvegaha.
Yatha nadinam bahavo
Samudram eva bimukha dravanti.
samudrameva vimukha dravanti
Tatha tavami naraloka vira.
tavami naraloka vira
Vishanti vaktrani abhivijwalanti.
vakrani vajantalanti
Yatha, as Nadinam of the rivers, Bahavaha, the many, Ambuvegaha, waves of waters, Samudraham, the ocean, Eva, certainly, Abhimukham, Abhimukaha, towards, Dravanti, glide, Tatha, similarly, Tava, your, Ami, all these, Naraloka Viraha, kings of human society, Vishanti, are entering, Vaktrani, the mouths, Abhijwalanti, are blazing. As the many waves of the rivers flow into the ocean, so do all these great warriors enter blazing into your mouths. That's a very beautiful verse that we generally chant. Huh? What is that? Akashat patitam toyam yatha gacchati sagaram sarva deva namaskaraha keshavam pratigacchati. When water pours down, now we all experience a lot of rain here in Chennai, in Dubai, all around the world, it looked like a lot of rains. Akashat patitam toyam. When water is flowing down or, pouring cats and dogs, and then it forms into rivulets and then into rivers. Ultimately, what's the destination of all these rivers? With a great force, the rivers go and fall into Samudram. That is the example that he is giving here. Yatha nadinam bahavaha. Many, many rivers together. Ambuvegaha, with full force, with the waves of water. Samudram eva abhimukaha dravanti. They are gliding into Samudra. Similarly, all the creation, all the kings of the human society, all these people are just gliding into the mouths of the Lord, as the Lord can show it there here. Huh? Then let's get on to verse number 29. Yata pradiptvam jwalanam patanga
Yatha jwalanam patanga
vishanti nashaya samuddhavegaha
vishanti
Nashaya
nashaya
tataiva nashaya vishanti lokaha
Tathaiva nashaya
vishanti
vishanti
lokaah
tavapi vaktrani samruddhavegaha
tavapi
Tavapi
bhaktani
bhaktani
samruddhavegaah.
Yatha, as pradiptam, blazing, jwalantam, a fire, patangaha, moths, vishanti, enter, nashaya, for destruction, samruddha, with full vega, speed, tathaveva, similarly, nashaya, for destruction, vishanti, are entering, lokaha, all people, tava, your, api, also, vaktrani, mouths, samruddha vegaha, with full speed. Beautiful example is being given here. I see all people rushing full speed into your mouths as moths dash into destruction in a blazing fire. Now, when we all see in India, when there's rain, what happens? All these small, insects that come in and they come and latch on to where the tube light is. They will all come near to where the light is. Similarly, he says this, when there is fire, these moths are getting attracted by the fire and they go into the fire and they get completely finished. Similarly, all these people in this universe are all getting attracted, they're getting pulled into the fire-like form of yours, and they're going and getting finished inside there into the blazing fire. So let me just see whether here it is just one verse or multiple. Okay, it's just one slide. Okay, we cover 30 also. Lelihyase grasmana samantal lokan samagran vadanair jwalabdihi tejo virapurya jagat samagram Bhashastabogra pratapanti Vishnu. Lehi you are licking. Lehanam, you lick. Gasamanaha, devouring. Samantat, from all directions. Lokan, people. Samagran, all. Vadanai, by the mouths. Jwaladbihi, blazing. Tejobihi, by effulgence. Apurya, covering. Jagat, universe. Samagram, all. Bhasaha, rays. Tava, your. Ugraha, terrible. Pratapanti, are scorching. Vishnu, O all-pervading Lord. Translation. O Vishnu, I see you devouring all people from all sides with your flaming mouths, covering all universe with your effulgence. You are manifest with terrible scorching rays. So we already covered these parts now. So Arjuna is seeing all the sons of Dhritarashtra along with all their allied kings, Bhishma, Drona, Karna, etc. All of these people, including some members of his own teams also rushing into the fearful mouths, and some are trapped with the head smashed between the teeth, eyes, arms, thighs, bellies, and many terrible teeth. Indicates Arjuna could see his awaited victory. And then in the next he says, as many waves flow into river, into the ocean, as moths dash to destruction in the blazing fire. So you are all devouring people from all sides, your effulgence covering all the universe with terrible scorching rays. Then let's cover 31 alone, and then we close for today. So verse 31. Akyahi me ko bhavanugra rupa namostu te deva para prasida.
Namostu te deva varaprasida.
Vijñātumiccāmi bhavantamadhyam
Vijñātumiccāmi bhavantamadhyam
nahi prajanami tava pravrittim.
Nahi
Vijñānami tava pravartim.
Akyahi, please explain. Me, unto me. Kaha, who? Bhavan, you. Ugra rupaha, fierce form. Namah astu, obeisances te, unto you. Deva vara, O great one amongst the demigods. Prasida, be gracious. Vijñātum, to know. Ichchami, I wish. Bhavantam, you. Adyam, the original. Na, not. He, certainly. Prajanami, do I know? Tava, your. Pravrittim, mission. O Lord of Lords, so fierce of form, please tell me, who are you? I offer my obeisances unto you. Please be gracious to me. You are the primal Lord. I want to know about you, for I do not know what your mission is. So now he sees that he's seeing a completely different beast. He sees somebody completely different. He asked to see the form and now he is confused. So Arjuna, in great fear, asks two questions. And first is, who are you? What is your mission? Why is Arjuna asking these questions? Arjuna knew Krishna as his friend and Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he was puzzled by the various forms exhibited by Krishna. Then Krishna starts to answer. That is section C. We will cover section C in the next session. And I promise you, I will not bow out of the next session. I'll be there. So let's get on and complete that. Any comments from anybody at this particular stage? I stop share. And anybody has any comments? Any questions?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Kartarji, no.
Dandavat. Dandavat.
Yeah.
Why Arjuna had a question of seeing his Vishwarupa? What was the need? Did he doubt the capability of Lord Krishna? Did he want assurance before he starts fighting? Or what was in his mind and what was the need? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I think you joined slightly late. We covered that part as we started, but
Sorry.
we'll just, no, that's okay. So we'll just quickly refer to this particular bit. So here, in the 10th chapter itself, Krishna has explained to him about his various opulences. Now, Arjuna has heard all of this in that chapter itself. Krishna has explained. But now Arjuna wants to see. Now, why does he want to see? The reasons are given here. Why does he want to see? One is, he wants to establish Krishna's divinity for all of us. Arjuna is a very special disciple. He knows Krishna. But we know that this question will come for the others. That, was Krishna real or not? So he wants us to see it, to establish that divinity. If you see here, the first is to establish Krishna's divinity for all. Then to convince others, although he does not have any personal desire, he is completely satisfied to see him in his personal form as Krishna, but to avoid imposters also again. So there are many people who will say, I'm God. Now, if somebody else says he is God, let us see whether he can show his Vishwarupa form. No, nobody can show that. So to also set that particular one so that imposters do not come and do anything. And Arjuna wants to substantiate Krishna's statement, not only theoretically and philosophically, but actually Krishna can show his form. So that is the reason why he's seeing it, though there is no need for him to see it. And in the process, he is giving us an opportunity to understand about this Vishwarupa form. We also talked about, before you joined, to say why the Vishwarupa form was shown multiple times, not just this one time. Okay? And how the Vishwarupa form is not everything. Krishna is everything. So Krishna's very unique form is everything. So Krishna is also showing that only by his own mercy can somebody see his form also. We can't see it by our own methodology. And we talked about multiple times which Vishwarupa was shown, and Arjuna is just seeing that Vishwarupa form. And we also talked about why Vishwarupa form is not the ultimate, that we'll come to now. As soon as Arjuna is asking to see his Vishwarupa form, then he says, show me your four-handed form. Then he says, please show me your Saumya Vapu. Krishna, get back to your normal form. which is everything. Everything. Krishna's original form, in the two-handed form, is the ultimate. That is the conclusion to which it comes in. That is also a lesson that is being taught by Krishna showing Vishwarupa to Arjuna.
Sorry for inconvenience.
No.
So
That is
I
perfect.
had
Your question is-
early patients, so I could not join early.
No, that's
sorry.
okay. No, that's perfectly okay. It is very good that you asked the question. It is sometimes good to reaffirm these. So it is a summarization. So perfectly good. I only mentioned that we had covered that. No harm in mentioning it again and again.
Ji Guruji. Thank you.
Namaskar.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Happy New
Any
Year.
questions? Thank you. Any further questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Prabhuji, just the way you have informed us earlier, can you please recap the significance of Chatur Shaloki and the benefits of reciting it every day? I mean, if there is any rule of reciting it, please.
It is not that there is any rule of reciting it, just that the Chatur Shloki is like a summarization of the Bhagavad Gita, and therefore we generally do it, and we say if you are not able to chant all the shlokas every day, you chant these 4 shlokas. It says that the meaning of these 4 shlokas gives the full synopsis of Bhagavad Gita, and that is why the importance of Chatur Shloki.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
Nothing more than that as Chatur Shloki, but the Chatur Shloki, the Lord says, I am the source of, in a crisp way, he gives the entire summary of Bhagavad Gita. He says, I am the source of all the spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. And he says, wise who perfectly know this, engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. And what do these devotees do? The thoughts of pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are surrendered unto me. They're always working, doing everything in their life in service of Krishna. And they derive great satisfaction and bliss, enlivening one another, conversing about me. And for such people who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, to them I give the understanding by which they can come to me. So it's important, just, by hook, by lottery, you don't just get a chance. Yes, some people get a chance, but there is a need to go through, constantly think of Krishna, worship Krishna, be with the devotees of Krishna, understand what Krishna is saying, for us to really understand. So to those constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. And to them, to show them special mercy, I dwelling in the hearts. Krishna is in the heart of everyone. I destroy with the light, the shining lamp of knowledge, the darkness born of ignorance. So this 4 shlokas gives the summary. So Krishna is the original source of the material spiritual worlds. And he says, only hearing from Shastra to bona fide authorities is very important. We have to understand this about Krishna from hearing properly. Never be deviated. Then that Krishna is referring that he is the source of all the demigods. And he says, avoid all the unauthorized commentaries. Be careful. Then, what are the symptoms of a pure devotee? The thoughts of pure devotees dwell in me. Life is fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction, always conversing one another about me. So devotees means they form a club by which they are all constantly discussing about Krishna. Their thoughts are constantly in Krishna. Matchitta, madgata prana, bodhayantaha parasparam, kathayantascha maam nityam. They are always chanting the katha of Krishna, maam nityam, every day, at all times. So there are 2 stages of devotional service. The preliminary stage, they like it. They relish transcendental pleasures from service itself. But the mature stage, they're always situated in love of God, and thus relish the highest perfection, which is exhibited by the Lord in his abode. And what do the devotees discuss? Srimad Bhagavatam gives this. Srimad Bhagavatam gives us nectarian narrations about transcendental relationship between Lord and his devotee. Free from, they are not worried about dharma, artha, kama, moksha. They are worried. They are constantly thinking about Krishna and his devotees and how Krishna deals with his devotees. The relationship between God and the devotees is being constantly discussed in Srimad Bhagavatam. This is the transcendental narration, and realized souls take pleasure in such literatures. So this is the beauty of the association with devotees. Then the Bhakti Lata Bij, how does it come? Bhakti Lata means the creeper of devotion. How does it grow? The seed of devotional service. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it's rare fortune to get the seed of bhakti. We have all got the seed of bhakti. So what we should do? We should water the seed by hearing and chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. As the seed grows and fructifies and grows, it penetrates the covering of the material world. It reaches the Brahma Jyoti, but Brahma Jyoti is not all. It goes beyond. Final destination, it goes to Goloka Vrindavana and gradually starts to bear fruits and flowers as the watering process goes on. And what is that watering process? The watering process is to constantly chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Attend Kirtan Raza, hold each other's hand, chant the names of the Lord, read Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and that is the watering process. That is Nitya Sadhana. Every day as we keep doing it, the Bhakti Lata Beach grows constantly. And gradually we get into full absorption and love of God. And we come to a stage like we are fish out of water. We cannot live without a moment, without association of devotees and association of the Lord. At this stage, devotee attains transcendental qualities in contact with the Lord. So this is called the Bhakti Lata Beach. So this is very important. And then there are different stages of yoga. It says, and the Lord gives this particular intelligence. So these are all covered here. And then the Lord finally says, I give them special mercy. He gives them the torch of knowledge. That is very, very important. The conclusion is special mercy of the Lord. Philosophers criticize devotees as naive sentimentalists. Or Chaitanya has criticized by many others, say, oh, what devotees are just singing and dancing? What are they going to get about God? No. And then the analogy is Krishna is like the shining lamp, or this like the sun who destroys all the darkness in the heart of the devotee. And what is the solution for the living conditioned soul? Heart is covered with dust of materialism since millions of births, can only be cleansed by chanting and devotional service and not by mental speculation or argument. So this is very, very, very important. Everything will automatically be provided by the Lord. When darkness is removed and the Lord is pleased, everything is automatically provided by the Lord. So this is the summary of Bhagavad Gita, and that is why we say 8, 9, 10, and 11 of the 10th chapter is called the Chatushloki. And so chanting the Chatushloki is just 4 verses. I will chant and send it to you all on the group. Just hear it. 10 times you chant, you will memorize it. Every day in the morning chant. It takes 1 minute, 2 minutes to chant. That's all. Similarly, there's a Chatushloki Bhagavatam. Ekashloki Bhagavatam is also there. 1 Shloka Bhagavatam. What is that? Adau Devaki Devagarba Jananam Gopi Grihe Vardhanam Maya Putana Jiva Paharanam Govardhanodharanam Kamsa Chedana Kauravadi Hananam Kunti Suta Palanam Etad Bhagavata Purana Katitam Sri Krishna Leela Amritam. Similarly, the 1 Shloka. Adau Devaki Devagarba Jananam. He was born to Devaki in her very special Devagarbha. But where did he live? Though he was born with Devaki, he lived not even in Yashoda's house. He lived in the house of all the gopis. Gopi Grihe Vardhanam. Then what did he do? Maya Putana Jiva Paranam. Then he lifted the Govardhana hill, Govardhana Uddharanam. Kamsa Chedana Kauravadi Hananam. He killed Kamsa and he killed all the Kaurava and the other irreligious kings. Kauravadi Hananam. But he protected Kunti Suta Palanam. Etad Bhagavata Purana Katitam. This such a Bhagavatam that describes all of these pastimes. Sri Krishna Leela Amritam. That describes Sri Krishna Leela. That is called the Ekashloki Bhagavatam. So these are all very nice ones that you can learn every day and chant every day within a very, very short period of time. Thank you. Any comments, questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes.
Yeah. Prabhu, thanks for starting the classes again first. Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Sorry
Thanks.
for the delay. For the delay.
No problem. Prabhu, like earlier, every day a shloka would come on the WhatsApp. Like we haven't
Yes,
been
me and my
receiving.
wife have to find time memorizing the shloka. My wife is hearing what you say.
Hare
Let's
Krishna,
do the
Mataji.
recording in the next few days and we'll start off with the next chapter.
Thank you, Prabhu.
I will start. Again, we have not found time to complete, but we have done already 3 or 4 verses. We have not managed to complete a few others. We will do that. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Manojji.
Hello,
Thank you,
Prabhu. Thank you
Naliji.
very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Hare
Thank you,
Very much for
Ghanshyamji.
restarting this. We have been, I've been looking forward to it actually. So thank you once again.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Ghanshyamji, anything?
No, thank you. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Kartarji, for joining us. Padmapriya, Maithili all the way. I saw Jayanti also for some time. Umesh, Nalin. I hope your sisters are doing fine. I don't see any of them.
I don't know if I'm late. I had a little more question, if you allow me.
Yeah, I'm open. Go ahead.
Yeah.
The others can leave if they want to. Go ahead. It's anyway going to be recorded. Yeah, go ahead.
I'll take very quick. At
No,
the
go ahead.
end
No
of Vishal Rupa,
Vishwarupa.
he gets scared, Arjuna, and he
Yes.
requests, Madhav, please show me your Chaturbhuj only.
Yes.
So why he felt scared and why he felt that Chaturbhuj Roop, his normal Roop, is much better? That's number one.
Okay, there are two Roops here. Let me just give you 1 second. Charu. Okay, there are two. One is Vishwarupa, which is multifaceted. And then you have Chaturbhuj. And then you have the Saumya, two armed. So in the middle, he gets into a discount for 4 arm. Then he finally gets to the 2 arm. Yeah.
2 arm. G. So why he was scared of that Vishal
He was
Rupa?
very, very scared of the Vishwarupa. First, he wanted to see all the opulences. But when Krishna said, listen, it's very difficult to behold. You can't understand it because you're seeing it all in one go. It's too much to see and visualize. And not only you're seeing the past, present, future, you're seeing all the people being killed and going away. You're seeing everything fiery, as Sanjaya says, it's brilliant and dazzling like more than 1,000 suns. So it is very, very difficult to behold. And he says, and Krishna is giving a warning, disclaimer ahead of time. He says, Na vidur devana danavaha. Nobody has ever seen this form. Very careful. This is not easy to say. I've already explained it to you. If you want to see it, I'm showing it to you, no problem. But watch out. You have to get a very special eyes. Like when you say there's grahana, when there is a eclipse, you can't see it with your own eyes. They say it spoils your eyes, right? You are an eye doctor, Dr. G.
Yes, I have seen many solar burn people. We request them not to see.
Yes, so what do you need for that? To see it, you need the
X-rays or some.
You need special lenses.
That's right.
So Krishna says, already this is more powerful than thousands of suns. You can't see it with your normal eyes. I give you special eyes. And when he's seeing it, and when he sees all these people who are going to be killed, his family, his gurus who are going to be killed, all being seen, he is frightened. And all of these people are getting crushed in his feet. He's telling again and again, Damshtra Karalani, in between their teeth, fearful teeth, not just plain beautiful teeth, tough teeth and, crushing teeth and fiery. And everybody going at full speed, boom, 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 getting hit, smashed. He is really worried. He's scared.
In the last, why Lord Krishna selected out of 5 Pandavas Arjuna only?
See, it is not that Arjuna was very special, because even in the Nara Narayana Rishi Rupa, the Nara is considered to be Arjuna. So Arjuna is a very, very, very special devotee of Krishna from the beginning. So that's why Srila Prabhupada also writes that Arjuna is the starting of our parampara, because he is asking questions, and because of him, we are getting Bhagavad Gita. So he is very special. Krishna is giving also explanation many times to say, hey, Arjuna, I'm giving you this knowledge because you are my special friend and my devotee. So it is a qualification of how he comes. And Arjuna is very, very special to Krishna, being one of the best of the Pandava warriors. Krishna was always by the side of Arjuna. And Arjuna, even before, out of the 5 Pandavas, Arjuna was the closest to Krishna. And so Arjuna says, hey, Krishna, I've slept on the same bed with you. I have chastised you. I have played with you. We are both of the same age. So Krishna and Arjuna have been very close friends. And the relationship did not end just as friends. Krishna also finally became the guru of Arjuna. So Arjuna finally says, Harpanya dosha upata swavaha prachami tvam dharma sammuda chetaha yachreha shyan nichitam bhuitam me shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. I'm becoming your shishya also, Krishna. Please explain it to me. And then he says, okay, now nashto mohaha smrutir labdva tvat prasadan mayachuta thitosmi gata sandeha karishye vachantava. At the end of it's the whole Bhagavad Gita starts with, oh, I'm confused about my duty. I'm bewildered. What should I do? Please accept me as your disciple and please explain to me. And at the end, he says, Na Nashto moha, all my moha is gone. Nashto moha, smriti labdva. I have regained my smriti. Tvat prasadan, by your mercy. Tvat prasadan, my achyuta, hey achyuta, because of your mercy, I've got back my consciousness. I've got back true knowledge. Sitosmi gata sandeha. And gata sandeha, now I'm well established. Gata sandeha, all the sandeha have gone. Karishye vachanam tava. And now I will follow all that you tell me to follow. So Arjuna starts as a friend, but he becomes a disciple, hearing Krishna, seeing Krishna, all the journey of Bhagavad Gita we get because of Arjuna. And then finally Arjuna says, oh Krishna, you are God. And that's why even in the 10th chapter he says, Param Brahma, Parandama, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavan, Purusham, Shashwatam, Divyam, Adidevam, Majam, Vibhum, Ahustvam, Rishaya Sarve. All the rishis told me, but now I'm experiencing, now you are telling me yourself. Now you told me everything. I also want to see it. So can you allow me to see the Vishwarupa form? So as a discount, he gets Vishwarupa. And as a discount, he gets the Chaturya form also. And finally he says, I want to see your Saumya Vapu, your beautiful form. That is the logic that comes about. Yeah.
Guruji, did he bring a brother-in-law also played any role in this selection?
Come again, repeat.
Lord Krishna married his sister to Arjuna. So does this relation also comes in selecting him as his loved one?
Yeah, because he wanted Arjuna, okay, and therefore Krishna had to play a lot of mischief to even get his sister marrying Arjuna, because Balarama did not like Arjuna. Balarama, Arjuna had to play a lot of tricks, and Krishna had to support him in various ways for Subhadra to get married to Arjuna. But let us not take it just as a brother, sister, brother-in-law, these sort of relationship. Krishna is not bound by these relationships. Krishna says, Bahuni me vyatitani janmani tavacharjana. Tanyaham veda sarvani natvam veta parantapa. You and me have both been born many times before, but you don't understand it all. I understand it all. And Krishna is God. He is not just bound by these just relationships. He's got relationships. But to say that he likes Arjuna only because of that relationship is not correct. But yes, why not? He is, and Arjuna is a very special student and also his brother-in-law. Makes no difference. But that does not make him any partial. Krishna says, Ye yathamam prapadyante tam stataiva bhajamiham. As you worship me, I will deliver you. And he says at another place, Samoham sarva bhuteshu. I'm equal to all, not just human beings, to all living beings. Samoham sarva bhuteshu. Name dveshyosti na priyaha. I don't have any dvesha, and I don't have, I love you and I hate you. I don't have this. Name dveshyosti na priyaha. Ye bhajanti tumam bhaktya mayi te teshu chapyaham. Those who worship me, I also worship them. I respect them. So that's a very important verse. Samoham sarva bhuteshu. He's equal to all. So we cannot taint him by saying, oh, he's a brother-in-law of Arjun, so he likes Arjun, therefore he protected the Pandavas. No, he protected the righteous. Paritranaya sadhunam, vinashaya cha dushkritam, dharma samsthapanartaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Any other comments, questions, Dr. G, or anybody else? Thank you all. Hare Krishna. Ekam Shastram Devaki Putra Geetam Eko Devo Devaki Putra Eva. Eko Mantra Tasya Namani Yani Karmapi Ekam Tasya Devasya Seva. Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva. Tvameva Bandhuscha Saka Tvameva. Tvameva Vidya Dharnam Tvameva. Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Hare Paramatmane Pranatakleshanashaya Govindaya Namo Namah. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namah. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachano Ramadam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Bande Jagadgurum. Katyayini Mahamayi Mahayogini Ishwari Nanda Gopa Sutam Devi Patime Kurte Namah Shri Krishna Sharanamava Dasoham Krishna Tavasmi. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank
you, Hare
you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.